Hello, welcome to the PowerFish podcast. I'm Ben.
And I'm Fish. Today we're going to talk about Christmas, and more specifically, whether or not we should even celebrate it.
Should it be abolished? Should we get rid of it?
Exactly. Ben, what do you think, overarching, right? Because we're going to dive really deep into this here in a moment.
We're getting into it.
But what do you think about Christmas, broad strokes?
Well, I'm trying to think of the emotion that I feel as it's approaching, you know? Mm-hmm. Am I excited? I can certainly say no. I don't think I've ever really been excited for Christmas coming. As of right now, being at FedEx, I kind of dread it. But that aside, in young life, I would say I enjoyed it more. Mm-hmm. Putting things under the tree, knowing they're like I had my moments of going underneath our tree and looking at what packages are for who, and seeing if mine were bigger than my brother's, and don't take that out of context. And
pause.
And yeah, so I'd be lying if I said I didn't find it enjoyable, at least at some points. But I feel as pretty much from like 14 or 15 onward, I would say the enjoyment of being too young to feel pressure on what gift you're getting starts to wear off, and you start to feel that pressure now, and you start to be able to sense the body language of the people around you when they get something that you know they maybe kind of don't care about.
Yeah, I agree. I think so. There's a couple of things I don't like about Christmas as of now, and I think you're right. If I were to go back in my life, I would say it was about the time I got my first job. That was when I stopped really caring about Christmas or liking Christmas, because at that point I had the money to buy things that I wanted for myself, and there wasn't really a excitement to get new things because I can get my own things for myself. As an adult, I dread the gift giving. I dread it, and it's not that I don't want to be generous. I want to be a generous person, but it's the act of getting something for somebody else that maybe you don't know what they like or what they're into. I hate. Actually, funny little side note. We have a holiday party at work coming up, and they asked me. They said, "Do you want to go?" And I said, "No." And they said, "Well, why? Well, why? Do you not like Christmas?" And I said, "Well, no, I just, I don't love the idea of, first of all, just going out with my coworkers. I'm just not really into that. Also, just gatherings at other people's homes. I just feel odd about that. I just don't want to be in somebody else's house that I'm not very close with. That's just my thing." You're a pretty, this has kind of been consistent. You're a pretty work friends are not friends kind of keep them rare. I mean, I was a work friend, so there's obviously exceptions, but they're pretty well segmented. I do that
from what I can tell.
I do that, and there have been like you said some pretty clear integrations, and like I have a friend group now that originally we were work friends, but then we all no longer work there, or at least most of us, and then we've continued on as friends. So they kind of graduated into friend status, I guess. But
I mean, in a really early episode, we had a whole discussion of friend sort of category tiers.
That was that our first episode? It was first or second for sure.
It was early. It was an early episode, but we talked about, like, is work friend higher than, like, you know, friend is where does, you know, best friend slot. Yeah, we had a pretty long discussion on that.
At this point, that episode's a throwback.
That's an old one, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, to wrap up this segment of the side tangent, we're a couple layers deep in side tangents now. To wrap this segment up, yeah, I would say that's kind of true about me. I don't, and it's not that I have anything against people. I have my friends outside of work, and I don't know if it stems from necessarily like I don't want an issue like arising from getting too personal to like affect work. I don't know if it arises from that. Whether or not that's rational, that's a completely different discussion.
It absolutely is.
But whatever, wherever that comes from, that definitely exists for me. But anyway, so this Christmas party, I'm like, you know, that's just not really my thing. I'm not that into it. And then they say this to entice me to go. They say this. They say, you'll want to go because we're going to do a white elephant gift exchange. And I don't know if you knew that. It's just, I think it's, you don't know who you're getting a gift for, but you have to get something.
Oh, right. Okay. So, right. It's just normal gift giving, except even less personalized.
Yeah. Which I guess on paper would probably be even better for me. Because then if somebody's just like, oh, this is a crappy gift, I'm just like, yeah, it wasn't for anybody in particular. Fucking.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, that could be. I guess I immediately had a gut reaction of I thought it was kind of stupid, but, you know, it would kind of get rid of the whole, why did you get this for me? Sort of vibe.
But anyway you cut it, it's still gift giving, and I don't want to do it. So that was their incentivization. That's not a word. To get me to go.
Incentive.
Dude, I gotta beef up my words. I gotta sound smart. Anyway. So the incentive to get me to go was, hey, we're going to do gifts. And that was the nail in the coffin. That's just, there's no way.
And now it's just like, oh, your extra layer of trying to motivate me instead was an extra reason for me not to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the main thing about Christmas that I don't really particularly, I don't like gift giving. Here's another not a tangent, but here's another piece of that, the gift aspect that I don't like. I don't like receiving gifts.
Dude, quick side note for me, I can't stand receiving. The gift isn't the problem for me. For me, it's not just a gift. It's any act in my service. I hate it. It makes me, when someone does anything nice or tries to be kind, I hate it. It makes me so there's not many social situations that make me more uncomfortable than that. I really don't like it. And gift giving is one of the biggest, mediums for that.
In my personal opinion, I think you take it a step further than me potentially. Like
I would say yes.
Like if somebody's just like, hey man, I went out to the vending machine out here, but I brought you back a soda. Here you go. I'll be like, thanks, bro. Bet.
See, dude, if I said that, if that happened to me, I would have the exact same reaction. I would say, "Oh, thanks. Very kind of you." But I would there would be this unescapable dread of needing to do something back, but one up it.
So not only is just not just to make everything even, it's to put them in that position. It's like, no, yes, I am better than you.
I have this deeply irrational, like, sixth sense of debt, of social debt that I carry, and I want to make sure that I'm not in debt, but I want everybody else around me to be in debt to me.
It's hilarious to me because if you only take half of what you said, it's admirable. And then you go and you
add the part where I want everyone around me to be in debt to me.
No, I think, but honestly, I have a similar thing, I guess. I think about, like, here's an example between you and I. Like, there was a lot of times, like, where, you would drive us somewhere and I would drive us somewhere. And I think over the course of years, and I kept not a tally, but I kept an idea in my head of, like, the amount of gas we've spent on each other. And I think, especially since you've gotten your car now and you've driven several times, and then there was a couple times when you didn't have a car that you paid for gas, and it's all kind of evened out. But I keep that in my head.
Yeah, me too. I did that too. Over the course of like a handful of years, we would kind of alternate gas and car on road trips, and we didn't write it down, and we didn't even talk to each other really that much about it.
Yeah.
But like the intuition of who should do the sacrifice next is kind of like, it just kind of stuck.
Yeah. No, I have that. Yeah. I have that same exact thing. I don't want to feel like I am in debt to somebody because that doesn't feel good. I
just take it to an unhealthy degree.
Yeah, the degree of you need to be held back now. You need to feel pressure so I can feel not pressured.
Right.
What were we talking about before this? Side note again.
Abolishing
Abolishing Christmas. We were literally talking before we hit record. We were talking about how, like, hey, we're not going to have any problems getting to the full length of the episode because we just go on side tangents so much. And I think because we said that, this episode has the most amount of side tangents of any episode we've ever done. And
so far, everything past the first 2 minutes has been side tangents. And we haven't gotten to the episode. The topic of this episode today is, should we get rid of Christmas? And we're going to talk about the implications of that and everything that entails. And we haven't even started yet.
Right. But where we were going, as we've said, is we were talking about gifts and the stress of Christmas. And it's something that you and I, as I've come to hear, both don't appreciate. It's great for the kids because, I mean, at the end of the day, and I'm not a parent and you're not a parent and we both don't plan on being parents for at least a long time. But I mean, as a parent, you can get your kid whatever the fuck you want. I mean, kids don't care.
Right.
I mean, they do maybe, but
I mean, they do care, but like, I mean, the average kid don't want socks and stuff like that. But what your kid wants. Get them freaking Legos. Get them freaking, like, back in my day, there was like Bionicle and cool and Transformer models and cool stuff like that.
Exactly. I mean,
like, there's stuff to get.
There's just like the stock pick for
stock, or if you got a daughter, like a dollhouse that's pink and shit.
Yeah, and other stereotypes.
There's stock picks that are probably going to be fine.
So it's great.
And you know what? The child's not going to hold it against you if they don't get exactly what they wanted.
Especially if you just blame it on Santa, right?
Maybe we'll get into the implications of lying to your children about Santa too. But
right.
Yeah.
But that's the stress of Christmas. I feel like, and I don't think that this is an opinion just held by myself. I think this is maybe widely regarded as the way Christmas is moving. But I feel like Christmas isn't as magical as it used to be. And it's not just because of nostalgia or being a child. I think it's become over-commercialized. Even more than it maybe once was.
I would say, that's probably the general opinion. But here's the thing. Do we think that just because we are adults now and can assess that sort of situation? Or do you think when our parents were our age, they were saying the same thing?
I mean, I guess Christmas ads and sales and get to the store and buy stuff, I guess that's been around for quite a while, hasn't it?
Right. Like in these old Christmas movies that our parents would watch, even in these old Christmas movies, there's still the sort of like social dynamic of long lines waiting for stores to open. Everybody rushes in to get stuff. Like the whole, what was it? One of the Home Alone movies or something were based off of one of the kids getting lost during one of these riots at a store of people trying to buy things.
That sounds accurate.
Or no, it wasn't Home Alone. I think it was some movie where there's this red action model that this kid wanted, and it's like the most popular action model that every parent wanted to buy their kid for Christmas.
Right.
And the action model turned out to be like a real guy, and the kid like met him and stuff like that. I can't remember what that movie was called, but
yeah, maybe it had been a thing for a while. Actually, right before we hit record, we were talking about the Polar Express, the movie.
Yeah.
Great movie. I watched it recently because we're entering into the holiday season at the time of recording. And I remember having this thought. We were watching, and it was the scene where they get to the North Pole, and they're lost, and they're escaping the back rooms, right? And they get to this point where they're on this conveyor belt system, and the kid Billy. Now, Billy, there's other reasons why he might be hyper fixated on this, but we're in the Polar Express. They're about to meet Santa, and he's hyper focused on gifts and things like that. And so are a bunch of the kids, actually. And it kind of made me laugh to myself a little bit, because it was like, even in this situation where the movie direction, the plot is going on literally meeting Santa and this like great like dream-esque thing that's happening, and it's still about gifts. And I don't know, I don't think the original idea of Christmas was to be giving gifts. I don't know the history very well.
Well, I would say it was, because at the start of Christmas, when Jesus was born, there were 3 people who came to give. There were what was it? 3 rich dudes or some crap like that came to give Mary gifts at the baby's manger, or give the baby gifts, I think.
Well, I don't know if I would call those gifts as much as I'd call them offerings. This is more of like a offering to a king situation, in my humble opinion. I would say, yeah, opinion.
I would say that is the case, but it is the reason why gifts are part of Christmas.
Is that the case?
That is the reason. Yeah, I think, isn't it?
I thought there was didn't Saint Nick have a hand in this?
I don't know.
I mean, because that's a real figure. What's this guy about?
I've always understood it as the three wise men gave the baby, King Baby Jesus, gifts, and that's why the gift association is with. But that, yeah, we portray every one of us as Jesus, and everybody gives us presents because we're all Jesus.
I guess the first Google search says that it is about the 3 wise men and the birth of Jesus. And if I know anything about the internet, the first Google search result is usually correct. So we'll go with that.
Of course.
So, okay. All right. So maybe
that's how I always understood it to be. So gift giving and presents has been a part of Christmas since Christmas has been a thing.
Right. But I think you were heading down the right track there. Why are we giving gifts to each other and not, if you're religious, if you're religiously minded, why are we not worshiping the sweet baby Jesus?
Well, if you are in a religious family, you are doing that too. Oftentimes, at least my family goes to a church service beforehand to do Christmas Jesus worship stuff. And it's still very, but here's the thing. Given that Christmas and Easter as well, but we won't go on a side note. Given that Christmas is literally 100% because of Christian doctrine, people, obviously, everyone in the United States and the better part of America and some other places celebrate Christmas
A side note. So you phrase that, it's just like, America, the most important bit. Some other fucking people maybe do something. I don't know. If it's not within my nation's borders, who gives a shit?
Yeah, some other fuckers. But given that it's celebrated by obviously hundreds of millions of people, and the majority of them are not religious, or Christian at least, but you walk down the street and everybody's decoration is like, holy crap, like there's so much decoration of baby Jesus in a manger and Jesus statues or pictures.
Yeah.
And just entirely religious based things. And like if you go to, if you go to your families at Christmas, like everybody oftentimes gets around and prays. Like I've never been to a non-religious Christmas sort of dinner situation. So I actually don't know. What do you think that obviously we've only grown up in Christian environments around Christmas.
Right.
And no longer are, but like I wonder how other people that have never been religious think of Christmas. Because like when us having been Christian, that just adds an extra layer aside from the gifts. Even if all the stress of the gifts part and the chaos is still there, it lathers on an extra layer of why you're doing this. Right. So like I would say a Christian Christmas might just be better than a non-Christian Christmas.
I'll say this, in my opinion, I think the non-religious approach, the ideal non-religious approach to Christmas should be the standard. And the standard should be the celebration of gathering and family and just
Thanksgiving with giving.
Essentially, yeah. The Thanksgiving, which would have just happened, but right. now you're getting back together again to be like, hey, remember that time that we were all thankful for each other? Part 2. Let's do it again.
Yeah, now we're gonna do it, but buy stuff.
Yeah,
right.
Which
just when we say it that way, when we take the religious out of it, and we describe it the way we just did, saying we don't need Christmas sounds downright reasonable.
Yeah, because when you put into context that it just happened, essentially.
Right.
All you got to do is add presents to Thanksgiving, or I guess
add presents and stress because of it.
Yeah.
And chaos because of it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying to me, the religious version of it just seems like maybe the better version. Because there's like I said, there's an extra lather of meaning on top of it.
Yeah.
Granted, you and I don't subscribe to that meaning anymore. So like,
right.
That makes us probably just feel even more out of place when we go.
I guess yeah. If I'm taking out my my beliefs and how I would want to spend a day, I would say that's probably better, because I would want to get the focus off of presents and on to something else, something that there is no stress attached to. There's no stress in doing a little bit of worship, unless you're a sinner, I guess. Then maybe.
Which we all are.
Yeah. Yeah, if you ask some people.
Right. So, in the context of religion, I don't think you can get rid of Christmas. It is just not something you kind of have to throw away the birth of the Son of God to get rid of Christmas.
But you can,
or the meaning of the birth of
you can
Son
fundamentally change how Christmas is celebrated, though.
Basically make it a secular holiday.
Or for religion, because in order to, I mean, sure, the three wise men and the gifts / offerings to Jesus, that doesn't mean we have to give gifts to each other. and have that stress. It could just be a day of worship, and that could be Christmas. And also, where does Santa enter into this equation?
Bro, yeah, where the hell did Santa come from? Like, what? Yeah, I don't, that he ain't biblical.
Because I would argue, I know that you've said in the past, and you've told me today, I don't think we're recording yet when you said it, but you said that your family didn't introduce the idea of Santa at all.
No, so due to me being raised in a religious family, they straight from the get-go, said, yeah, Santa's nonsense. He obviously doesn't exist. And I'm like, okay, cool. I never took offense to it because I was never told otherwise.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
I did come from a religious household on both sides of my family, and Santa was acknowledged. Very much so. And,
really?
Yeah. And
so I bet, I don't actually know this for sure. So I wonder if that decision was just a parental decision, void of religious consideration.
Right. I think this is my speculation. I could be wrong, but I think that your experience is probably the minority. I think that most religious households probably still recognize Santa, or at least the essence of what Santa means, or something like that.
Which is what exactly? What use does that guy have?
The spirit of gift giving.
Which is stupid.
So like I always said this back when I was dumb and thought I wanted to have children. I thought
everyone listening, if you want to have children, duh.
Exactly. Back when I was dumb. So I always said this. I never wanted to like confirm for my child the existence of I was about to say the existence of Jesus. Whoops. The existence of Santa. Whoopsie. But I always thought, like, if I was going to take an approach to this, what I don't want to do as a parent, what I don't want to do is rob my child of the feeling of excitement or wonder or what have you that arises from Santa. And what I also don't want to do is create a situation where my child is kind of left out of the Santa conversation with their peers. I don't want my child to be the one that like has to all their friends are like, oh, Santa's coming, and then my kid's just gonna be like, that's sack full of shit, stupid Santa. I don't want my kid to be that kid. So I always thought, well, okay, maybe I won't definitively say, hey, Santa's not real, but we just won't press it that much.
Keep it ambiguous.
It'll keep it ambiguous, and if they want to press on it and just say, well, they say, what is Santa? Who is Santa or whatever? What is Santa real? Just say, Santa is the spirit of gift giving or something along those lines. And just keep it ambiguous. That was always what my theoretical approach was going to be.
I don't dislike that approach. See, but here's the thing. God. See, I have such a unique position on this because, yeah, I was a kid that knew Santa was nonsense from the start, but I was also homeschooled, so I didn't get the opportunity to be that piece of shit,
And you absolutely would have been.
No. I probably would have been. So I am in an especially unique position here because when you said you don't want to rob them of the excitement that can bring, my immediate thought was, well, I don't feel like I was robbed of anything. I don't feel like I was robbed of any sort of excitement, but I also didn't get together with peers every single day,
right?
To converse on Santa. So
yeah,
maybe my input here is just kind of less relevant, just because of my hyper minority position here.
Right. I do think it brings into question a conversation about inclusivity when it comes to people that just straight up don't practice, or don't. I mean, practice is a word usually used with religious context. But what I'm talking about specifically is people that don't recognize Santa versus people that do. And that creates tension. What my theoretical approach was a way to get around that tension, but is that the best way? Is the best way to just not have a Santa figure? And that be the way to eliminate the tension?
Well, I mean, what?
Because there's another. Let me add another piece to this puzzle here. As somebody yourself that did not have a Santa in the household, so to speak, you would have never experienced this. But there's a big discussion within the Christmas community about this is the thing about some parents can't afford bigger gifts and some can. If little Billy gets a freaking those like battery operated motorized cars that a kid can drive in, say little Billy gets little Billy gets one of those from Santa Claus.
And dude, then the Timmy, amount of people, just and then, quick side tangent. Okay, I deliver so many. Like if you're trying to get your kid an original gift, like if that's a thing on your notepad here of things you want to get, if it has to be original, don't get that. I deliver like 15 of them a day. So many people buy them for Christmas. Exactly. So many people buy them.
I think I had over the course of my childhood, I think I might have had two. I think I had a 4-wheeler one and then another one. I can't remember.
I had none.
Oh, I got a side layer. Another layer onto it. So I had those, right? Those were cool. I might have even brought this up at one point, but I'm going to talk about it again because I freaking love this thing. I had what's called a green machine. Have you ever even seen one of those?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so what you do, it's got like a bike wheel in the front, right? In the front, and then little it goes here, and then the seat right here, and then there's two like plastic wheels on the back, and you sit on this thing. How you steer it is two joysticks that go front and back. That's your steering, and it controls the back wheels. So one big wheel in front, two smaller wheels in the back that slide, and you control it with two joysticks. So,
and you like sit back in it, right?
Yeah.
And then
the whole idea of it was you'd get up some speed, you'd throw the joysticks, and then it would just slide.
You would drift a mile. Yeah.
Dude,
I know those things. I never had one of those either. I did not know they were called green machines.
Yeah.
But yes, those are so, we couldn't fit in one now or we'd just crush it. But those were so fun. Were so fun.
I would drive that thing to work now if I had one big enough for me. Bro.
Oh yeah.
That is insane. I did see somebody modified like a motorcycle to look like one. That was kind of sick, but obviously it's not functional in the same way. But dude, I loved those. What was I talking about?
You asked me a question that I was thinking about.
Sick. Okay.
That was where we left off.
Oh shit! I remember. Okay, so let's say little Billy has one of those big wheels.
Billy, yeah, okay. Yeah,
Billy has one of those big wheels. He got it from Santa Claus. He's really happy, and he goes to school the next day, and he tells all his friends. Hey, little Timmy next door, what he get from Santa Claus? He got a yo-yo. So does Santa just not love Timmy more than he loves Billy? That's the question.
But I mean,
there's income diversity.
Of course, there's income diversity between households, but is that something? Is the average Santa believer, of age enough to go into that sort of a deeper level there to think Santa might be having favoritism?
I would say absolutely. Maybe not flesh out the entire idea, but I think anybody over the age of maybe 5 could probably look at, say, big gift versus small gift. Why I get small gift. I think that causes a problem. And a lot of parents think so too. I mean, that's, like I said, that's every year. That's a conversation that I at least hear bits and pieces of from people that are of age that are having kids that have kids that are of that age that it matters.
Right.
So I think it creates a problem, and it creates yet again more tension on Christmas. The way that my dad's side of the family got around this is Santa would just do the stocking stuffers. That was their solution.
Wow. Okay. So this is actually like a thought about thing. I didn't really consider. This is not something I've ever thought about.
I figured it wouldn't be. Well, I mean, why would
Santa only did the stocking stuffers? That's interesting.
That was their solution. Santa did the stocking stuffers, and so Santa would give candy and like little knickknacks. And one of the things they did to give a little personalized touch to Santa was Santa would give an ornament for the tree that symbolized your year. So like a big accomplishment you had that year, he would give an ornament for the next year that symbolizes that year. So like whenever I got really into disc golf a couple years back, my ornament was a little disc golf basket, as an example.
Because they, of course, still think you believe in Santa, right?
Right. Well, no, that was just because that was the tradition at that point.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. I mean, that just leads us to, is Santa worth having at all?
Yeah.
Is he worth having around? Like we're in a world without Santa right now. What are the kids losing?
Nothing, because I'm sure in this world they're still getting gifts. I don't think kids. Listen, when I said in my theoretical solution, I don't want to rob my kid of the joy of Santa. What that really is a product of living in a world where Santa exists, and them not having it is a stark contrast. If Santa was never a thought in any peer group, it's just they're just getting gifts anyway. We don't need this mystical figure, in my opinion.
Maybe Santa was thought of by some dude who didn't want to deal with the pressure of his kid not liking the gift he bought him. And he said, "Oh, Santa."
Maybe. That's probably not true, but it's just funny enough that we'll just make it true.
So I don't know. I think Santa's kind of worthless.
Dude, bro's washed up.
Yeah. I don't think he serves. Like, we don't need a guy to symbolize kindness. Like, we don't need that.
I think I agree. I think that what is a better alternative, right? If you are trying to symbolize the spirit of gift giving, the spirit of generosity, why embody that into one figure when you can just teach generosity?
Yeah.
And just instill that as a belief or a practice. Why do we need to offload all the generosity to a mystical figure when we can just be generous in our day-to-day life?
I think possibly it's because kids are vastly more receptive to good advice when it comes from the product of a story.
Yeah. That's true. That's why like fables are a thing and all those same things.
So, but then, you might say in response to that, how many kids are actually being better people because Santa exists? And I would say probably freaking none.
Yeah, that would be in my response, actually, because, well, and we know that because what is Santa, right? Santa is this figure that brings you presents, but only if you're good. This is not a role model to live by. This is a fear tactic. This Santa is God. This is all this is. Heaven and hell. Yeah, you are acting good because you want the good. You don't want to burn in hell forever. Yeah. So of course you're going to act good because you have to. Santa is the same way. I think Santa probably took notes from God's notebook. I'm going to give you presents if you're good. So you have to be good. Is Santa just baby's first God? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay.
I think the overarching
is that good?
No, even? I don't think so. I don't think that's a good way to teach, because that's not a teaching way to. That's not a way to teach so that your recipients learn. That's a way to teach so that your recipients act in a way, but they don't actually learn. Right?
Right.
Yeah. Fear mongering is not a way to teach something. It is
You heard it here first. Yeah. Christmas is nothing but a day of fear mongering.
If you take this and blow it out of proportion, fear mongering is not a way to get someone to learn something, but it is a way to get someone to act in a certain way.
Right.
And that's what this is doing.
And I mean, like, I've been in retail for a long time. You really hear that. You hear people come up and their kids are like, oh, I want this. And they say, well, if you're good and if you do your chores or if you don't fucking act out, maybe you'll get it. And it's just a way of keeping your kids in line.
And yes, it is. It is. But I also don't want to downplay the value of trying to teach your kids good manners. Like, I get that that's the wrong way to do it.
Right.
But I don't necessarily think the overarching idea of reward-based motivation is all bad. I don't necessarily think that. I think there's better ways to teach. I really think there is, because like I said, reward-based or good, bad results, it doesn't teach someone how to do something as well as it does just get them to do that action. So, like, in the short run, yeah, maybe it works. In the long run, probably it's not going to teach them to do shit. But you got to keep your kid in line somehow.
Right. I guess my only point, and I think we would agree on this, it just don't use a magical almighty being.
Right, yeah. I think of all the ways you can look at this, none of them, Santa helps none of them. Yeah, is what we're getting at here. So I think we could do away with Santa entirely.
And Santa
but that's God. That's not the question of today. The question is, could we do away with Christmas entirely?
I think we can.
We can do at least away with one part of it.
Right. We can segregate this into separate ideas. And before we get to the overarching question of Christmas or no Christmas, we can just check off the list that if no Christmas, or potentially if we want to keep Christmas around, Santa's not involved.
And maybe the gift giving too.
Right.
The whole gift giving consumerism culture around it.
Right. So let's just brainstorm for a minute, right? So we just brought up, what if Christmas wasn't a thing at all? What would realistically be different if we just not only didn't have Santa, but just didn't have the holiday?
As far as we'll see, that has even bigger implications because of all the things we've been discussing, but also it's a national holiday. It's seen by employers and companies, and it's associated with Black Friday, which is the biggest sale of the year. Yeah. Which is a huge economic boom. Like they're getting rid of the holiday entirely. In addition to what we've been talking about, holds a whole host of other factors that would be just gone. So that's a big discussion.
Right.
Maybe so. In terms of the economic standpoint, the gift giving, getting rid of that would have gotten rid of the Black Friday boom, the craziness, but if I would say it is probably best for the economy to probably have one of these mass shopping days still around. I think it is in companies' best interests to still do something like that. But it wouldn't be Black Friday anymore, because the reason Black Friday is where it's at is because of where Christmas is at in the year.
Right.
So where would that go?
I don't know. I mean, now we're just speculating on where would it fall if not Christmas, and I honestly couldn't tell you. As a side note, though, how do you feel about Black Friday? I mean, I feel like the general consensus is that it's just infinitely worse compared to what it used to be.
Oh, 100%. Black Friday deals now, for the most part, are kind of just like the same deals that you see throughout the year, except all at once, like store-wide.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to touch on that for a minute because I like everybody, I've been doing some Black Friday shopping, and it's just, it's just so deflating to me because you get all prepped for the day because it used to be people are waiting outside and they're just breaking down doors to get inside, and now it's just kind of a shell of what it used to be. But anyway, so if companies were to keep this massive sale going on, when would it fall? I think it comes down to Black Friday exists because people need to buy gifts for Christmas. If they're not buying gifts for anything, then why are they buying things for themselves? You know?
Well, down under, there is Singles Day, which is bigger than, because there is no Black Friday for them. Mm-hmm. So we can actually, we know, we can see this. Like, there are places that don't do Black Friday. Like I said, in China, they do Singles Day, 11/11, November 11th.
Right.
And that is their Black Friday. That's their big sale day.
Yeah.
It's kind of just something that was just kind of made up, though. So, like, maybe we could do something like that too, just kind of make up a day. But it certainly would not have the kind of significance of meaning that
Black Friday does. We're having this entire conversation about the pressure of gift giving. It is one and the same as the pressure to buy.
Right.
And without the pressure to buy, you're not going to get shoppers. Not to the same degree. If you put something on sale, people will buy, but not to the same degree. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So economically, right?
I would say removing Christmas would be a negative for the cash flow of the economy, probably. Which is wild to think about, but it probably would.
Yeah. Well, I'd have to agree. I think I can't see any other way around that. But, okay, so that's the economy, right? But frick the economy. Who cares, right? So what about and this is a broad question, very broad. What does that do for people? Is it good for more people? Because, like, we've been talking about how we get stressed around Christmas and we don't like it. That's not everybody's experience.
Right, that's certainly not most kids' experience, and I would say certainly not at least some adults' experience. Or some people just don't. Some people are good at giving gifts, and it's not a thought process for them. Some people are just good at it.
Some people love it.
Some people really love it.
They
love receiving, they love giving.
We've talked about this before, but the 5 or whatever love languages. One of them is gift giving. And I have a friend that's like this, and that's her whole thing. Is she was like actually, I think this was a conversation last night. She was like, "Hey, what can I get you for Christmas?" And I was just like, "Absolutely goddamn nothing. If you send me anything, I'm going to be mad." Actually,
Ashley asks me that every time, and every time I say I literally don't want anything. Yeah. I love giving, but like I said, I really hate receiving.
Yeah. So and that was the thing. And it was just like, no, I have to get you something. It's Christmas. You need to get something. And that's just the end of it. I'm like, well, so that's
closed.
That's just a part of some people's process. If they can't give a gift, then they're not really showing how much they appreciate you. Does that negatively impact them?
But here's the thing. That person feeling compelled to give you a gift because it's their love language. I suspect this would do this to you, and it certainly would to me. This now adds a layer of obligation to you.
It does, and I hate it.
It just assigns it to you without your consent.
Yeah, no,
like it just
that's a big reason why when she says to me, "Hey, I'm going to get you a gift. What do you want?" and I say nothing. But a lot of that is coming from not only do I not really need a gift from you, but I really don't want to give one back because the frick am I going to do? I don't know what you want. God dang, I don't.
Yeah, it's not the fact that you just don't want to give her a gift, because I know that you obviously have no problem buying her gifts. It's just like, it's such for people like us that are retarded, it's just a mental stress on like what to get.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cognition that goes on with that. And that's not the case for everyone. I know. And I know people always say this. There shouldn't be an obligation. It should just be the spirit of kindness, and you should give and not expect anything back in return. The receiving isn't the point. The giving is the point.
Right.
But that's just not the world we live in.
No, that's not the reality.
It's just not reality. Like, yeah, in a world where that would be great. That would be great, but it's just not reality.
Yeah, the absolute worst thing is a gift exchange where it's very one-sided. That's the worst.
Yeah.
It's the worst. Like, you know who are the worst scum of the earth people? Just the biggest scum. It's people that really put a lot of thought into a gift. They give you this really deep, thoughtful gift, and then you're just like, I got you a gift card. You know, it's just, they're the worst fucking people. They put the most amount of pressure on this situation.
Yeah. Why don't you go up and tell them that? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I'm saying it, is because I'm in the comfort of not telling it to their faces.
Right. Yeah. And I know, dude, what a position we are in to complain.
Well, that's the worst part of it, is because you complain about it, and then they're just like, I just want to give you a gift. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Exactly. It's like, why are you, yeah, there are so many people that just don't understand. They don't understand the feeling, the gnawing of burden that is strapped to my back every time I receive something. They just don't understand it. They don't understand.
And you know why? Because we were just talking about love languages, and gift giving is one of the second part, and everybody's different. But the second part of that is gift giving and receiving. So the people that are inclined to give you the best gifts are the people that want gifts to feel loved by you. It goes hand in hand. It's the people that put the most pressure are the people that need the best gifts in return, or at least some gifts or something. And it's
sometimes, yeah.
And everybody's different, but I've noticed that with not just people I know, but in general, it's I got this for you. It's deeply thoughtful. I thought about it for months. I put so much time and energy into getting the perfect thing. And then there's the expectation of like, I know that you appreciate me too, and my love language for receiving is also receiving gifts. What is it? And you're just like, this big box of nothing.
Yeah, this gift card to Walmart.
I got you the best gift, a gift card to Walmart, because it can be just about anything you want it to be.
Yeah, isn't that kind of crazy that giving the gift of more options, like just money or something, is kind of seen as worse than more specified of a gift?
Yeah, because it's seen as lazy, right? And to an extent,
that's true.
It depends. Yeah, it depends on how you want to look at it. If you want to look at gift giving,
yeah, it's because it is. I think
gift giving should be thoughtful, and if you're doing that, it's not thoughtful. But it is the most versatile. I've always thought, honestly, gift cards are a funny concept, because it's just like, let's take money that is infinitely versatile and then make it a lot less versatile. And then say, here you go. I converted cold hard cash into this thing to a store that maybe you don't like. I've gotten and this is not that I'm not thankful for it. I'm thankful for every gift I've ever received. But I've gotten gift cards to restaurants that I don't live near.
That's crazy.
And that happens a lot.
That's never happened to me.
I have family in Chicago. I have family in Springfield. I have family in St. Louis. I've got family in Ohio. Like all over the place. And then like I'll get a Red Lobster gift card. We don't have a Red Lobster. You got to drive 2 hours to see one.
Our closest Red Lobster is Springfield, Illinois, which is just shy of 2 hours away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
which is crazy.
And not to say that I don't appreciate it, because I'm appreciative. I freaking love it. Give me a basket full of biscuits. I'm a happy boy, right?
Ooh, cheddar biscuits.
But but I gotta go on a little trek to get there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Far be it for us to complain about gifts, but like, this is obviously a first world problem.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some people maybe not listening to this necessarily, but certainly people out in the world that don't have anything, and they're just like, man, I would love to get even the worst fucking gift. Like,
yeah, right.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So Christmas being gone, no gifts, no huge explosion of purchasing and chaos. There would be one less day that we get off of work, I guess.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have the day of get together, but like it's literally 1 month from Thanksgiving. So like, is it that big of a deal? That one.
That's my only hang up here. Cause I want to say, well, it's about gathering and it's about family. And I don't particularly like get-togethers, but I know a lot of people need that. A lot of people like maybe they live further away from their family and they need that excuse to go visit and they need that connection. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. Thanksgiving just happened.
Right.
Like and honestly, what's the next one after that? Easter? In spring? Mm-hmm. Easter's right around the corner.
Yeah, Easter in April. It's 4 months.
So, I mean, you're entering into the holiday season. You know what really would be good? Instead of having Christmas and the holiday season, you put that into like the summer or something. Because like you enter into the holiday season, which is over the winter break. And that's when you like just shove all of these family get-togethers right into the cold season. Spread it out. Get one in the summer.
Throw that sucker in like July.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Move Easter back like 2 months and then slap this in like June or July.
I would say this right now, and we haven't made our final calls on Christmas or no Christmas, but I'll say this, and I think you would agree. If we do go the route of keeping Christmas around, I think it moves days.
Oh yeah. I don't think, like, could Jesus have like just been born differently?
And he wasn't even born in December. I don't remember. Isn't it? When? No, I swear to God, this thing. When was Jesus actually?
I think I've heard this before.
Born.
I think I've heard this before. Jesus wasn't actually born on December 25th. He was. Isn't that just when the three wise men came to the manger with gifts and offerings?
Frick if I know, but hold on.
I'm not really sure.
I wasn't born that day. Okay, but then when, yo? One theory suggesting that the Star of Bethlehem may have been Venus and Jupiter coming together to form a bright light in the sky, a rare event that occurred on the 2nd of June. That's perfect.
Wow, the 2nd of June. Yeah, okay.
That's perfect. Let's wrap it up. That's great. Move it.
Yeah.
Assuming that's correct, which it probably isn't. But, shoot.
Jupiter and Venus lining up. That would be cool.
Yeah.
That's your Bethlehem star. That would be really cool.
Yeah, your Bethlehem.
Bethlehem.
I agree. Okay, so if we keep Christmas, it moves to June 2nd.
Let's
just declare it. Yep, for the world to know.
All right, yeah. We're deciding this. Yep.
So I guess that leads us into the question. Let's just get to it then. Christmas, yes or no? Christmas, June 2nd, yes or no? Right?
You see, everything we've talked about leading up to this point, you would think the obvious answer would be no Christmas. But like, snap our fingers, we're now in a world without Christmas. I think there would be a much larger portion of people that would be overall disappointed and upset than not.
Right.
Whether that be because from a children's perspective, because of gifts, from adults' perspective, because of get-togethers, just even though it's so close to Thanksgiving, it is still just one extra thing, one extra excuse to get together. And I genuinely think that more people, like a lot more people, would be significantly more disappointed than not if there was no Christmas. Even though, like I said, basically every conclusion we've come to up to this point has been pretty in the direction of maybe Christmas doesn't need to be around. I don't think it would be, well, we know it wouldn't be for the economy and Black Friday, which, yeah, for better or worse, but I don't know. I think it should stick around, but moves to June 2nd.
I just thought of another benefit of moving it to June 2nd. You're going to be giving kids all these gifts, and then it's their summer break, so they actually can use them. Dude.
I mean, yeah, dude. Buy your kid an Xbox, he'll get to play it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're literally would be giving them their gifts at the start of, like at almost the very start of your summer break. Bro, I mean, we did it. I think, okay, but to peel that back, I think I agree. I think people like you and I are just going to have to suffer. People that either don't want to go visit their families for whatever reasons, or B, don't like giving or receiving gifts, are just gonna have to tough it out and deal with it, because it's better for humanity.
I think having it is the greater good, and yeah, I think people like us are just. It's not. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Like,
it's not. It's just an inconvenience at most.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, right. It can be stressful. It's an inconvenience, but like, it's once a year. I think we can both agree that it probably.
And you know what? And here's the other thing: do we feel this way to the extent we feel this way because we already had to deal with not that there's a gift giving aspect, but just the theatrics and the whole get up of Thanksgiving just happened. You know, I think I'm speaking for myself now. That's true for me. Going into the Christmas season, I just saw everybody. You know, I feel like I'm a little over it going into the season, because I just, at least in my case, probably went to a couple Thanksgivings. You know, and now I'm going in Christmas, and I just saw all these people, and I don't really like family gatherings anyway. Add to it the stress of the gift giving. I'm a little over it by then. But if it was in early June, maybe that's different.
Yeah, I think Christmas needs to stay, but it just needs to be in June.
Yeah. And where do we end up on the Santa conversation?
Oh, dude. Gosh. I don't think there's any argument for that guy to stay. I think he's just
keep the overall, like, what he symbolizes, keep that around, but not the figure.
Right. I don't think we need the guy floating around on a sleigh with reindeer. I just think that's so silly.
We wouldn't get
a bunch purposeless.
We wouldn't get a bunch of banger Christmas movies though.
And there's been a lot of, this is crazy. The amount of Christmas horror movies where Santa is like a murderer is wild. There's a lot of movies, horror movies like that are hilarious.
There's a new trend going on now. I know there's been maybe 3 or 4 movies in the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years of not necessarily horror, but like Santa is now just like this badass jacked dude. Like that's been a new trend I've seen.
I think, yeah.
Like I know there's
not some fat guy.
Yeah, the J.K. Simmons one just came out, I think, and then there was is it Kurt Russell? I think is the other guy who's portrayed Santa in like a whole new light, and he's like kind of a badass in a lot of ways. I don't know. It's an interesting move, but I think I'm for it. But
I would, maybe that's a Santa that I would prefer, a Rambo Santa. That's jacked. Yeah.
But I think overarching, maybe we skip Santa in our ideal Christmas.
Yeah, I think we skip Santa.
Well, is there anything else we missed? Anything else we want to cover?
No, I think we pretty made that conclusive, decisive, and definite.
And I expect anybody listening to this video /podcast/ wherever you're listening to it to implement that as your default way of celebrating.
Yeah, from now on, Christmas is in June, effective immediately.
And if I hear anybody whisper the name of Santa Claus, you're done.
We will fearmonger you out of this. You're done if you mention Santa. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all for watching it or listening. Let us know on your thoughts about abolishing Christmas, on moving it in the summer. I think the consensus of just sort of reinventing it, but not removing it is the way to go.
Yeah.
But let us know what you think, and we will talk to you next week.
Peace out.